What's up, good people? This is Isaiah, and as we look at the tape, we're talking about Renri, all right? The undercover scribe, or I guess I would call her a journalist, really, but whatever. Okay, talking about Renri, had to knock out her quest or whatever, and to those that thought, that this wasn't going to happen, her being at 255, I would say you've lost your minds. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because if we look at the Shadow Fist users real quick before I dive into her kit, Shadow Fist, this is all we got. So of course, when she got released, I was going to get her to 255. You know what I mean? So there's some that also thought that it was going to take me forever to get her to 255. I got her before people started doing polling on her. All right, so there's that. If you're inside of David's Discord, then you would pretty much know what I mean. Anyway, so Renri here, right? Our fire type support and grants co-op to allies to basically improve the buffs that they get, which is nice. All right, so starting off with the, I guess, final board skills here. We go to ability, enforcer. All right, we got Tiger Rush. Fire type blunt attack on a single enemy ×3. This will most likely be your AF skill. All right. Restores all party members' HP by 30% and critical rate plus 100% for 3 moves. Not bad. And then based on the number of frontline allies with co-op, strength increased, max ×15. So again, this will most likely be your AF move. All right. So there's that. And then of course the final skill here, Blaze Up. Go figure, I like that. It's preemptive, grant co-op to the frontline single party member in slot to the user's right. Now, this is something I want to talk about real quick. To the user's right, because believe it or not, some people tend to get confused about what the hell this actually means. And I guess it makes sense, because there's I think Mazrika, she has that to the user's right. Mayumfa Alter, she has to the left and then to the right. Okay, there's probably somebody else I'm forgetting who also does something like that. What this actually means when in fight or whatever, in this case, to her right would be Annabelle, right? If I were to move, if I were to move her here, to her right would be Aldo, okay? So that's pretty much how that works. I guess another way to actually look for that, if you have, say, Mayumfa Alter, place Mayumfa Alter in random places in the party, all right? And then just see who gets that buff, right? And you'll quickly be able to determine, all right, this one got the buff, this one got the buff. You can do the same thing with Mazrika if you guys have her, all right? But like I said, if we were to enter a fight real quick against our favorite punching bag here, just to showcase this for you all. Okay. And as we can see, it looks like Aldo has his gun on him. Though I can't actually click on the gun or anything like that. That's what it currently looks like. But if I were to use, it's called Blaze Up. Come on now. Alright, as you can see, Aldo just got that co-op. Alright, so if I were to, I'm not trying to do a damage test, I just want to showcase this. Look at this here. We can see that Aldo now has the co-op on him. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's just Aldo, as we can see. Alright. And then of course there's her there. Alright, so that's pretty much how that works. If I were to move her to the first slot, then in this case Suzette will get that. All right, if I moved her here, Annabelle, moved her here, Aldo. All right, so that's pretty much how that works. So like I said, Mazrika, Renri, who else am I thinking about? Mayumfa Alter, there's another one, Yuela, another extra style. All right, characters that benefit from stuff like that. All right, anyway, back to the skill ad here. About what that does, let me go back to ability board to the bottom here. All right, so let's see here. Party's power plus 50%, int plus 50, fire type attack plus 50. So again, really the fire type support here. All right. For frontline allies with co-op, everything's increased times 2, and grant link times 5. Link effect on ally attack, fire type attack, additional attack. So basically, it's like again, think the Mazrikas in this particular case, or actually, I would say Mazrika in this case. All right, though this may actually apply to, I don't know. We'll take a look at some of this stuff here. All right, machine turret act first. All right, an additional attack based on the allies' weapon type. All right, so good stuff, not bad in my opinion. All right, and then of course, if we look at the other skills here, right, blast up. That's just a different form of that particular ability. All right, if we go to this one here, deal breaker. All right, all enemies physical resistance down 35%, type resistance 35%, and speed down 35%. Pretty damn good. Based on number of frontline allies with co-op, debuff effect and turn duration increased, so up to 50% for 6 turns, which is nuts. All right, really benefits the fire type damage, if you will. Moving back up, here we have locked in to preemptive party physical resistance, 25%, magical resistance 25%. But of course, like that whole co-op ability here, the buff effect gets increased. All right, in this particular case, it's by 1.6. All right, if there is no zone deployed, you enter a fire zone here, and then of course, when an attack type zone is deployed, we awaken the zone, so she can awaken zones, which is good for those that want to use them. And then of course, this not correct slot. I feel like there was another one. Here we go. Hobnob, very weird name for a skill. All right, regen, all party members large. MP, regen, fixed value 10, 3 times. Status immunity, also good for those that, you know, we all know what it's like to be in a fight and all of a sudden be hit with something like a stun or, like a stun or a freeze or something like that. You know what I mean? So definitely helps. Restores all statuses, which is definitely good in my opinion. All right, frontline ally restore amount and status immunity effect increased. All right, times 3. Again, this is all good stuff in my opinion from a buff, debuff, heals, zone support, and things like that. She could do a lot to put it bluntly, you know, and I definitely do like that. All right, now moving on to, let's see, her Stellar Awakening here. Starting at the very bottom left here, right, this is her enhanced ability. In frontline at battle start, grant co-op to all frontline shadow allies except self, right? So the reason why Aldo, Annabelle, and Suzette didn't have co-op was because they weren't shadow, right? They're all light users. So to showcase this here, we're gonna go to, let's see. Shadow, we'll replace El Seal here.
Can you help me with my story?
Because everybody else here is Shadow, which is strange because they're all water units as well. So this ought to be interesting. Into this fight. And remember, to our right would be Felmina. So now what we should be looking at here is Jill having co-op, Felmina definitely having co-op, and Tismena having co-op, right? So now we have 3 units with this co-op. So of course, the ability we were looking at earlier, like a Blaze Up, gets an increase, right, for frontline allies with co-op effect, buff effect increased times 2, grant link times 5, all right, for 5 turns, I should say. Deal breaker here, of course, gets an increase, and then obviously trigger rush, right? We increase the damage by 15, all right? So that's pretty much what that means. Okay, moving on back to Renri here. So that's how that works. Okay, so basically, you know, she works best with a shadow team if you're going for damage, right? Moving on. Here, this is pretty self-explanatory. You get a boost here. Same thing with that one there. You get another boost. Looking at her overload ability here. Excuse me. All right, we got critical damage for all party members. 50%, and all weapon type damage 50%. This is great news. So it doesn't really matter who she's in a team with. In this case, so think Ewan and Manalka, both shadow units. You know what I mean? Throw in another one. I'm drawing a blank on who that would be. Throw another one, and boom, you're good. All right, maybe Iffy, for example, if you need someone who has the ability to bring characters back to life. All right. So there's that. And activate double XL, Strength Trigger Rush, only if Trigger Rush is learned. So basically, this is one of those 2 skills for 1, right? So overload, right? And then, of course, in Stellar Burst, I should say, for frontline allies with co-op, grant barrier appears 1 move. This is good. This could also be your another force move, especially if you need to pierce barriers, right? And then, of course, in Stellar Burst, we pretty much know how this works by now, where buff turn duration increased ×2, and of course link trigger strength increased ×3. So if the trigger rush, I believe it's time 15, if you have an entire shadow team, this may increase to about 45 or so, if I'm reading this correctly. All right, so there's that. Pretty good. Again, like I said, she could do a lot here in regards to this, in my opinion, in regards to how I would build her or who I would pair her with. All right, we actually have one of the units on screen right now. If I'm thinking, say, Shadow Blunt, I'm gonna throw in someone like a CL Alter, and then I would use Shadow Blunt. Oh, I would actually use, let me go down here, Shadow, there we go. Daisy.
If you want me to go, sure, I'll go.
What we doing today,
Ewan,
boys?
right? Because again, sticking with the Shadow Blunt in mind, and then also the other thing is that they are all Shadow users. All right, so of course that benefits that whole Trigger Rush ability, or even her buffing skills here. You know what I mean? If I was going for more, say, Shadow Fire, then I would just swap out CL and Daisy, and for some reason the first fire user that comes to mind that's Shadow is actually Sukiya.
Let us begin.
Okay, I can even do, I keep doing that, this here, and then instead of having CL here, I would go for Manalka. There she is.
You're gonna let me do what I want,
and that's
right?
my fire-based team. Okay, so that's pretty much how that would actually work. Again, these are just my initial thoughts when it comes to team comps when freestyling this here. All right. As far as, I could probably do this here if I'm going for, say, more like counters here, and I guess we can test that and see how this goes. I don't think we have a pain setter in the party, though I could be wrong. But we can just throw them in. Not really giving a damn about roster per se. As you can see, they're all fire units. Look at all the guns, man. I like the sound, the sound effect here. So if I were to do first skill, whatever, actually, there's that extra attack. Okay. An extra attack there from Ewan, and again, that's coming from that link. All right. Shadow users, or maybe even fire users, are actually getting it as well. Because I believe there was a I was testing a different team count with there, and I'm pretty damn sure like Fine was doing a bunch of damage as well. This is me not really paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm just selecting anything here. We'll go for Mortal Sin, stick with Shock Flame, Deal Breaker. Not really needed in this case. We can go for Trigger Rush instead. Alright. Extra attack. Several extra attacks. Extra attacks there. Of course, she doesn't get them because she doesn't actually have the gun poses above her. So think El Seal, except you don't. Yeah, think El Seal, really, with water teams, is just a different El Seal for fire. And this one's Stellar Awakening. So, this is how this is working here. If I were to go for Overload here, an overkill, and then lava impact. A bunch of extra attacks there. Okay. A bunch of extra attacks there. Right, so you can see why this would actually work well with at least these particular uses because it hits so many damn times. Alright? If I were to go for another force, it's like the bar hasn't even moved because of all these extra hits that are being done. You know what I mean? Lots of extra attacks being done here. I don't know how long this can actually go on. Right? With all, especially with all the new gear that you get. You know what I mean? If I were to say go for this here.
I will handle this power with utmost care.
Somebody hit the damage cap, but I have no idea who it was. It's probably Sukiya. I don't know who it was. But as we can see, I had a hip one for quite a while, actually. But definitely a good team to use it. And if we were to just bail out of here and throw in, say, a different shadow user, for example, like Fine here. Let's see. Staff, shadow. I'm thinking of starting up a series where I grind for Fine's shadow here, just to document how long this would actually take. I'm thinking it's going to take me about maybe a month or two, and that's with like zero pulling, by the way. And that's just running dungeons. In this case, the newer dungeon for her, and then of course TTW. Considering it took about 6 to 8 weeks to finish Garyu, I'm thinking it's going to take probably a little bit less than that, considering her starting point is 180. All right, so let's see here. No, not diary. We could probably use a little bit more space with some of these here. No biggie. Come in here. So as we see, we're back with 3 guns. So now if I were to just use this skill, and we'll just do the first attack for everybody here.
Gotcha!
Extra attacks coming from Fine. You see what I'm saying? That did a lot of damage. Yep, that's doing a lot of damage. So, in my view, she's a good character to have. For the fire support. Sure, there's other units. I mean, you can definitely use Moon for Alter in pretty much any team comp in this particular case. And it doesn't really matter if they're light or shadow for Moonfoot. But definitely pretty good, based on my experience with her so far. As far as pulling on her goes, nah. Like, if you have any version of Renri, yeah, I don't think you really need to pull on her. In fact, you could just save your stones for somebody else. All right. Let me just pop on over here, dreams here. Like, if you didn't have any version of the Nalka, then sure, you could pull on that one. Ewan, I would assume most people would have some form of Ewan at this point. Unless you're brand new to the game, you wouldn't have them. In that case, go right ahead, do your pulling. Renri, though, like I said, if you had any version of her, I would say hold off. You don't really need to do any pulling for her. Because you could just grind for her, what are they called, tomes? And then side grader. That's just what I would do. All right, so all in all, in my opinion, easy character to use. All right, good when it comes to really good with shadow teams. All right, I feel like shadow getting a lot of love in this particular case because we have a whole lot more shadow or a whole lot more light-based units than we do shadow units. So I'm liking the fact that we're getting more shadow units in this case. But yeah, pretty good character to use. I definitely do enjoy it. In fact, you pair her up with like Garyu, right? True Manifest. That might be really good. You know what I mean? Like we already know the damage potential of Garyu, True Manifest. You know what I mean? It's nuts. He can take out the twins by himself. Okay, so that'd be pretty dope. pretty damn dope. Also thinking about like the like say Kuchinawa, you know what I mean? Because he can give that expose earth, I believe. I wonder if who can give expose fire, if it's even possible. I haven't looked, hence why I'm asking about it. There's probably somebody in the game who does it. Probably Minalka, for all we know. But yeah, really good character. Like I said, very easy to use. Doesn't take much planning either. I mean, if anything, the planning would be more like, okay, where do I want to put her? All right. And then going from there. All right. But those are my initial thoughts on her. And that was just a simple test of me using her in a random team comp full of fire users. All right. And works just fine from what I can see. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. And like I said, if you guys want me to start up that series, pretty much just documenting grinding Shadow for Fine here, let me know and I don't mind doing it. All right, so Fine at 180, and then we have the other one, you know what I mean, who like came out of freaking nowhere. Galliard here, who's at 120. I pretty much stopped when the dungeon came out for Fine here. I'm like, okay, let me work on that one there. All right, so, and then of course Helena, figured I'd show that as well. New Earth staff here, and she's at 120 as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you guys feel the need I should document it, let me know. I'll get to it. Okay, or at least I may just document one video, showing you my current route for her dungeon. I'm gonna do that anyway because I have it planned. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will talk to you all later.